DorkLair. Welcome to another DorkLair action figure video. Today I'm going to take a look at a little bit of news that just dropped, and then I will sort of recap like my top 3 sort of highlights from San Diego Comic-Con. So first up, just hot off the press, these magazine scan images are going around of the Last Jedi Crait Luke and the Force Awakens Han Solo for SH Figuarts. Now, this Han Solo they've been showing for many years now, so this is way overdue, and the Crait Luke actually has been around for a little while now too. So I'm super excited for both of these. Hermit Luke or whatever from last year was one of my favorite figures from 2018. The figure was just incredible. I love it so much. So this one, the magazine scans, he looks a little weird. Like, I think his chin looks too filled out or something. So we'll see. In hand, usually once you have it in hand 3-dimensionally and everything else, it usually looks a lot better. But this is not, I don't think this is an exclusive or anything, because usually it has that Tomashi Web logo on there. And then the Han Solo, that actually, even in the magazine scan, looks incredible to me. So that face sculpt looks spot on. And so both of these are December releases, so I imagine these are going to go up for pre-order very soon. These are probably going to be August 1st pre-orders. Doesn't say on here, I don't see if it says like August 1st pre-order or anything like that. And looking at the schedule for the fall here, what we have is Yoda coming out in August, and then Boba Fett is coming out in September, and you have the Vader and the Stormtrooper. Those are like remakes coming out in October. So that leaves November. There's nothing in November, and then you have Luke and Han in December. So Figuarts seems to be picking up again. I would imagine whenever it is, it's like October 1st or something, when they have the Triple Force Friday, that we're going to see something else, possibly a November release, maybe even a couple things dropping quickly in the fall for the Rise of Skywalker. All right, and so next up, the Medicom toy show that was simultaneously going on the same weekend as San Diego Comic-Con had some interesting new MAFEX figures. They showed some Into the Spider-Verse, and then they also showed the Dark Knight Returns. And so the Dark Knight Returns Batman and the Miles Morales Spider-Man are both going to probably be going up for pre-order soon. Another magazine scan type situation is making the rounds right now. It's hard to track down the original poster of this, but the pricing shows $85.80, but I think that's like with tax or something. Usually on the Medicom site, it'll say $7,800, and then the sites will list it right around that. So $7,600, $7,800 in there, yen. And so the Batman figure is going to be coming out in May of 2020, and the Miles Morales is going to be coming out in June of 2020, which is actually faster, I think, than their usual turnaround for figures. So hopefully MAFEX is getting a little more quicker with the releases. Yeah, and so be on the lookout for those hitting like Hobby Link Japan and AmiAmi. These often sell out on pre-orders and end up being the type of thing where you have to maybe get the reissue, but MAFEX is really good at putting out reissues. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about San Diego Comic-Con and some of the news that came out. If you want a more in-depth recap of everything, check out DorkLair Podcast, episode 99. Larry and I go through a bunch of stuff. Chris was there, and he was kind of sending us a bunch of photos and just keeping us up to date on everything. And it wasn't like the biggest sort of action figure Comic-Con. Like, I don't feel like there was a ton of stuff. I guess Marvel Legends was huge, but I don't collect Marvel Legends, so I don't really get into that too much. But for me, the first thing that is, it's double. It's like my biggest letdown and the thing I want the most. And that is the HyperReal Luke from Hasbro, the 8-inch scale figure line. The Vader's coming out very soon, and they had promised that they would show Luke at Celebration. So I assumed, since it was already late from that, they hadn't shown it at Celebration, and I assumed that they would have a prototype on hand. And get a sense of what this thing's going to look like. But no, they didn't have it. They just had these computer renders, and then it went up for pre-order, which I pre-ordered, but I'm a little bummed out that they didn't actually have a prototype on hand. I want to see, it's one thing to do a computer drawing or sculpting of the clothing and stuff and the face sculpt and all that, but it's another thing to actually produce one to see how all of that is going to scale and look. Obviously the prototype looks good. I mean, the computer 3D rendering looks good, but who knows what it's going to look like. I want it. I'm sort of in on this line. It's only going to be like 1 or 2 figures a year, so it's not something that you're going to be like collecting heavily, but I really like the idea of a cloth goods Star Wars line that's not all the way up to Hot Toys, because those are really tough to budget in. Like, a lot of people collect Hot Toys and like only Hot Toys, unless you're Chris from the DorkLair and collect everything pretty much. Okay, and then so moving on to things that came to me sort of like as surprises, welcome surprises. Storm Collectibles had previously shown the Warrior from Golden Axe video game. I think that was at Toy Fair. And it looks cool and all, and I'm fairly indifferent to it. Like, I might get it, I might not. But now that they've shown the dragon mount, the red dragon here, I'm super on board with this. Like, I might even get the Warrior now too, but I definitely want this dragon because that'll mix in really well with my Mythic Legions. I just love the idea of having more mounts and things for them to ride. So that thing looks really cool. And then finally, my number one. And this is a lot of people's number one. And in fact, I kind of predicted this. I talked about it on my podcast leading up to it, that I hoped that Mezco would finally come around and do their Frazetta figures, or at least do the Conan. And here it is, Conan the Barbarian, 112 Collective. Super excited for this. And in fact, it kind of was weird that it has a 2021 release date, because everything else they had out there was 2020, and this was the only thing that's that far out. But Chris was there, and he actually got to talk to Mike Markowitz, Mez himself, who was giving him some insights on why it was 2021, why it was so far out. And apparently what they're going to do is they're going to re-sculpt this guy. I hope they don't make too many changes, because I think this thing looks spot on Frazetta style. And what they're talking about is that they want to fill out the back a little bit more, which will bring the torso into a bit of a wider, bigger kind of look, because it does have a little bit of a tube thing going on, just like straight up and down, rather than having bulked out sort of pecs and that the lats and stuff like that. So they're going to be doing that. And they also said that he's going to come, and this is, I don't think anybody else is talking about this, but Chris said that Mez indicated that this would come with a cloth cape. So probably like that fur cape type thing. And it's going to come with a ton of weapons and accessories. So hopefully they add an axe in there too. The thing behind the placard there is like a flail. It's like a like a handle and chain, ball and chain on the end, and shield there. So this looks awesome. I'm on a super Conan kick lately. I love the property. I've been really digging in and reading. I've been listening to the audiobooks of the Robert E. Howard stuff. I've been reading the new Marvel comics. I've been going back to the classic Marvel comics, and I've just been on such a Conan kick, and this is such a welcome surprise. I'm so happy that one of my San Diego Comic-Con wishes actually came true. That's so rare. I'm not very good at predicting things. All right, and last but not least, my one non-action figure thing that I am super pumped about. They had a trailer for the Picard series that's going to be coming out at the end of this year or early next year, I believe. And I am super pumped. The trailer looks incredible. Go find it and watch it. JeanLuc Picard is back. 7 of 9 is in it. Data. They also promised that Riker and Troy are going to be back. So this show looks incredible, and I am super pumped. I cannot wait for that. That is definitely my number one highlight entertainment-wise out of San Diego Comic-Con. So hit the comments below and let me know what your highlights are from San Diego Comic-Con. Toys, properties, Marvel, the MCU, they dropped a bunch of news on the timeline and titles of everything. I know Marvel Legends was big time. I do know that the Turtles from NECA were a big hit. And so which one is your favorite? Maybe your top 3. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, subscribe to the DorkLair podcast. Watch my other videos, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at @TheDorkLair, and until next time, may the Force be with you. DorkLair!